if they want to. Talk don't bother me. I want the whole.
And welcome to Let Them Talk. I'm Paul DeRienzo.
And I'm Miss Joan Marie Musi.
And we have two wonderful guests, Maria Lewis and Drew Phillips, who are NYU students who, it's my understanding, were both suspended. Is that true?
Yes.
Both suspended for their roles in the protest earlier this week, or last week actually, at New York University's Kimmel Hall. And we're here to ask them, they're putting a lot on the line with something like this, and to describe what happened, why they did it, and what the situation that they face right now is. We're, of course, here live on Let Them Talk, and you can join us if you wish by calling the number there on your screen.
Call us up.
212-757-1538. So welcome to the show, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Right.
Thanks for having us.
And I hope you found a nice warm place to stay on this cold night, having been, I am sure, evicted from your housing.
Yes.
Actually, I have my own apartment, but those students who did have housing were evicted from their housing. The university actually offered them temporary housing in other dorms, which we wanted to know. We asked them why they needed to remove them from the dorms in the first place anyway, if they were just going to move them to other dorms.
Dorm, yeah.
Well, yeah, because their original excuse was that they were relocating them because we weren't supposed to be, we're persona non grata on NYU campus right now, so we're not allowed to touch foot on any of their buildings. So that was the justification, but they're still moving them to another building during this entire process, which is really difficult for some students because it's a tough time for them. I mean, the university's trying to come down hard on them, and they're not even being able to, stay where they live, where their home's been for
And
a
how
while.
many students are involved? How many were suspended?
18 students have been suspended, but hundreds were involved in the occupation and thousands outside. But 18 of us have been suspended.
Well, let's talk about the rationale for the protest. We came out there for the support demo.
Yeah, I was
last
telling
week.
him I was on jury duty and I came during my lunch hour.
Right, I was there. I got an email from a friend of ours, and so I wasn't there that night of the arrest, but friends of mine were there, and I got a blow-by-blow description on my text messaging as it happened at 3:30 in the morning, which is interesting because that's nothing new. I've been in this business a long time, and I can tell you, in every confrontation, it seems like they choose 3:30 in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning.
I was going to say, or 6 in the morning.
Or some ungodly hour to make their move, hoping that the people will be at their weakest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about why you carried out this occupation. Of
Yeah, and
Kimmel
why
Hall.
an occupation as opposed to a demonstration or something else?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We call ourselves the Take Back NYU campaign. We began about 2 years ago as a campaign of just different students coming together, really feeling like we wanted a more transparent and accountable and democratic university. There's very little transparency at New York University, and there's even less democracy. We pay so much every year to go to the school, and we have no idea how it's run and no say in how it's run. A lot of us have gotten really frustrated with that. So about 2 years ago, we decided to put together a coalition of groups. We got together about 24 student groups and decided to see what we could do about this. We started through all the normal, legitimate channels, obviously. We wrote letters to the administration. We got petitions signed. We thought maybe the best thing we could do is run a senator. So we got one of our friends to run for the student senate. She was elected on a Take Back NYU platform. And for the whole year has been trying to push for accountability and student democracy in the Senate. We quickly learned that that was not the route to take. The administration had no interest in hearing us. It ignored our letters. It paid no attention to our petitions. We would go to these things called town hall meetings, which is a chance for the President John Sexton of the university to sit down and, in theory, engage students, but in reality, just kind of monologue at us. Every time we raised a question, he would either avoid it or shoot us down.
Let me ask you, what is the Student Senate, what type of issues do they deal with? If they're not addressing these kind of issues, what are they addressing?
That's an interesting question. The Student Senate is, interestingly, it's an advisory body made up of students, faculty, and administrators who get together to make advisements to the university about things that they maybe could do if they theoretically wanted to. So, to begin, it has no power. Second off, things that they do, a lot of what they do involves kind of planning student activities, trying to create quote-unquote community. One really interesting thing that happened in the Student Senate this year was that a group of students, a group of the college Republicans, decided that they wanted to overturn a 3-year-long ban on Coca-Cola products that had been in place in the university. The group that we organized with 3 years ago had gotten this ban in place because, for those of you who don't know, Coca-Cola has been complicit in the murders of 8 union organizers in Colombia. There has been, and also the kidnapping and torture of several others. There has been no investigations into this. They completely deny the allegations. The Colombian government is complicit in this, and there's been call for an international boycott. 50 universities divested from Coca-Cola, refused to let them have Coca-Cola products at our campus. And for a while, we were one of those campuses. But Coca-Cola actually has been basically kind of spearheading campaigns around the country to get Coke back on campus. Obviously, that's what they want.
Oh, and so they successfully
They
returned
successfully
to NYU.
turned it over NYU.
Well,
That's what they've been doing.
Well, and the thing about
The Student
the
Senate.
NYU case is that it did go through each student senate. We took it back, and they had to debate it individually because we have different schools within NYU. So we
Right.
would go to the College of Arts and Science and debate it. And at each debate, there were landslide votes in favor of keeping the ban. Like, the students and the student senate spoke, but then as the process kept getting pushed forward, because we have some high-ranking, actually people on our board of trustees who sit on the board of trustees of Coca-Cola, who wanted to see that this got reinstated, bring Coca-Cola back to campus, and so they pushed it forward to the Senate or the campus-wide Senate. Which voted at it was a pretty close vote. I think it won by about 6 votes to remove the ban. Though we as students were saying that the whole time the students had spoken, and at each student senate meeting there was a landslide victory. But as soon as the administrators come in and their faculty get a vote on it, then all of a sudden there's a big difference. We're hearing a different story, and it's going to a different tune, and all of a sudden, it's back on.
So this shows
track.
you really have no power.
And,
with
yeah,
that.
and that was the issue with the list of concerns and demands that we'd sent to John Sexton regarding, making NYU a more accountable school, making it more transparent. Just issues that are hot topics right now. Obama's talking about this. As far as this country is concerned, that's what got us into this economic crisis right now. And we need to be pushing for transparency across the board. We can't just apply it where we want to and where we
We
don't.
have a call coming in, and
great.
if you want to take it, let's see if
Sure.
this new call machine works. You're on.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you're
Hi.
on there. Go ahead.
Am I on? Yeah?
Yes, you are.
Turn your TV down because there is a delay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Hang in there. We'll wait for you.
I was wondering, are you folks concerned about funding for future protests?
Funding for protests or funding for the university?
Either way, but would a portion of that money that hopefully that you would accrue for the cause, do you think in any way some of that money could be used to fix your freaky nose?
What?
Missed
That
that.
freaky
We
nose
missed
of
that.
yours.
I'm
Like a
afraid they're going
bird.
to ask you to
It's
repeat
all
it.
hanging out there like a hawk.
I think that was a joke call, but
I
that's
think
one
he's
of the.
calling about the naked girl.
Oh, right.
Oh, the disclosure for
the-
disclosure.
Oh,
disclose the-
exposure for disclosure. All right.
Yeah, that was
Well,
actually
I'm
done
sorry
by
I
a group.
cut you off a little prematurely. Call back if you want.
That's the feminist
We're
fight
happy
club,
to talk
right?
about
Yeah.
it. Yeah, right. That was one of the aspects, and in fact, there is a video of this that.
Now, speaking of women's issues,
Yeah.
because I am fascinated by this particular thing. I noticed you had pay equality as one of your things, one of
Absolutely.
your demands. Now, I have several friends that teach at NYU, and more than a year ago, I was talking to one of my friends, and she told me that she works in one of the departments, and they had asked her for a referral to hire another person. So she referred a friend of hers, a man, and subsequently found out that they were paying him more than her.
This is exactly why we need disclosure at our university. We need not both endowment and operating budget disclosure. One of the things that the university has said is that they absolutely will not disclose salaries because it is none of our business. And while we completely want to respect privacy, things like pay discrimination are very real across
I was
the
shocked
board.
when she told me that she had recommended someone, and because he was a man, even though he came in several years after she did, he was paid more money.
Absolutely.